Hi there, photography enthusiast. I'm Satya. Today, let's try to understand the purpose of focus hold button and how to set up back button focus. Nowadays, many lenses comes with a shortcut button named focus hold. Let's try to take maximum advantage of it. Before starting, let's define what is focus. This is the best definition I could get from internet. Focusing is a process of adjusting the lens element to bring the desired element in the frame to the maximum sharpness possible. This is the textbook definition. Let's try to see it in a demo. Let's place our camera here, and this is our field of view. Let's assume a background and a subject. This red line represents the focal plane. By adjusting the focal ring in the camera, we can bring this focal plane closer to the camera or farther away, and we adjust it to bring it to the place where we desire. This focal plane is so thin. In fact, theoretically, its depth is zero because it's just a 2D plane that exists, orthogonal to the camera. But for all practical purpose, some region before this focal plane and some region after this focal plane will also appear sharp enough for our eyes to see the objects clearly. This is what we call as depth of field. And we know by adjusting the camera settings like aperture, we can make it wider or even shallower. So far, so good. Everything worked as expected in the manual focusing setup. But nowadays, almost always we use the auto-focusing mechanism. Under auto-focusing setting, camera's internal algorithm decides where this focal plane should occur. Many times it does a neat job, but still we want more control under certain scenarios. When we press shutter button, two things happen. After press of the shutter button, camera does the focusing and acquires it. Once after that, when you press rest of the off, an image is taken. One famous technique called focus and compose, where we press the shutter button off way, let the camera acquire focus, post that we adjust the camera a bit, frame as we expect, then press rest of the button to take an image. Here, instead of using a single button, the focus hold button comes into play. Let me explain the process. We press the shutter button off way, camera acquires the focus. Post that we press the shortcut button in the lens called focus hold button. We press and keep it hold. Then we can remove our fingers from the shutter button. Camera now stays in the focused mode, and then whenever we want, we can press the shutter button to take an image. This is more convenient and ergonomically suitable. Now let's see where we could use the back button focus. Back button focus, as the name suggests, we remove the focusing operation from the shutter button, make it work only as a shutter button, and assign the focusing task to a custom button at the back of the camera. Let's see an example where it will be useful. Back button focus is primarily used in scenarios where the subject is fast moving. Let's look at an example. In the game of cricket, let's say we want to take a photograph exactly when the batsman hit the ball. If we use our normal setup and then have focusing as well as shutter in the same button, the focus might be missed. It might be on the background or foreground or some other object. To avoid that, we can use a back button focusing technique where we set up enough field of depth to cover the batsman and certain region behind him and certain region in front of him, and then click the back button and acquire focus of the batsman and ready. Whenever the bowler bowls the ball, we can hit the shutter button just to take images. We can take in burst mode to have multiple shots to capture the exact moment when the ball hits the bat. Let's see how we can set up this in a Sony camera. The process should almost similar in other brands too. Now let's see how to set up back button focus. It have two stages. Stage 1 is removing focus operation from the shutter button, and stage 2 is assigning focus operation to one of the custom button at the back of the camera. Let's go to settings 1 and then navigate to page 6. Let's turn off autofocus with shutter. This will remove the focusing operation from the shutter button. For stage 2, navigate to the settings 2 and then page number 8. Select custom key for image. Within that, let's assign focus operation to the rear one button. We can assign for both the states, both the toggle switch to AL old as well as AFMF control. Let's do it for AFMF control key. Navigate to page 6 and then assign AF on. Now, by pressing the rear button, camera will do the autofocusing. There is a bonus tip. Most of the time we want to have focusing along with the shutter button. To enable it, we can add the AF with shutter to the custom favorite button and then we can toggle it whenever we want. By this, both shutter button as well as the back button can be used for focusing. Hope you like this video. Please give your feedbacks and inputs in the comments below. Happy photography. See you in another video. Bye.